Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
What's going on with Coca-Cola? Go to the website and customize your own name on something. Look what I did. Alright, so I typed in I love Jesus, and let's just see what it says on the page. Oh, looks like the name you requested is not approved. Please note, some phrases may not be approved or your trademark, yada yada yada. I typed in I love Satan. Oh, look at there. It puts Satan on there. Let's try a couple other word combinations. Let's just see if it works. Trump 2024. No, I'm not getting political with y'all. Oh, it won't work. It's all red. Look at there. Let's type in Harris 2024. Here we go. Look at there. Oh, and it worked. I love God. Oh, it won't let me use I love God. Let's try I love Muhammad. Okay, that worked. So why does God not work? Oh, I love the devil. I bet the devil won't work, will it? Wait. Oh, the devil worked. It let me type it. Could you imagine that, everybody? Let's try the Baphomet. You know, that thing right there with the big star on its head that, yeah, oh, look at there. It let me do it. Come on, man. And Baal. Come on, man.
There must have been some complaints sent to Coca-Cola because they fixed it. I just went into the website and it said no for all of those. So
we've had 2 dams break at the very least, one in Tennessee and one in North Carolina. Didn't we just say that we were going to send another $8.7 billion to Is Not Real? Yes, we did. And we're continuing to send money to Ukraine. But we have people that are homeless in every major city in the United States, and we don't even have our basic infrastructure taken care of. But we have the balls to be going out there and messing around in wars and paying for things like that? Are you kidding me? How long are we going to allow this, America? How many lives have been lost because of this? This should be taken care of. We give plenty of taxes, and every day that we continue to do that, we are agreeing to being bent over by the United States government. My prayers are with the people who are missing, who are in this storm.
what I have learned recently is that a lot of this money that we are giving to Israel and to Ukraine is actually going to the big corporations here that produce all of these weapons. That's what's happening. It's just lining the pockets of the super rich here. Just a little more.
Debate. But with artificial food dyes, they have shown all over the world that they can use colorants that come from fruit.
This is the Canadian version.
This is the brightness of the Canadian version, just for visibility. And this is the brightness of artificial food dyes. So, of course, Kellogg and other food companies will argue children prefer this over this, just as they would prefer cocaine over sugar. That doesn't make it okay.
But I think...
Yo, shout out to my friends in Canada. Is that what the Fruit Loops really look like? Because our stuff is bright as hell, and that's just not right.
Microplastics in our brains. Yes, nothing new. If they actually check the human body, especially in areas that are polluted in major cities, it'd be amazing what they find. This confirms the research that we've been seeing for a long time, that yes, we do have microplastics, small to microscopic size piece of plastic in our body that has come through the production of plastics, plastic for everything. So what you can do, okay, if you want to limit your exposure, first thing and the best things that you can start to do is limit what you take in your body that gets exposed to plastic. So microplastics are found in very high amounts in packaged goods, prepared goods, because it comes in contact with a lot of plastic during and after production. Second thing is trying to not use as much plastic in your home, plastic bottles, Tupperware, all these type of things. Do those things, a lot more you can do. Those are some basic things, a lot more you can research and do for yourself. You can go down a rabbit hole with this, so just start with always the basics, your food, your water, and what you're taking into your body.
Yeah, of course there's plastics in our brain. Almost everything at the grocery store is wrapped in plastic in one form or another. And if it's not wrapped in plastic, it was shipped in plastic. It's just, you can't get away from it.
We're going to clear up something right now. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what the news says. I don't care what the internet says. I don't care what the history book says. Ed McMahon worked for Publishers Clearinghouse. You will not change my mind. I remember the commercials. I remember talking about Ed McMahon showing up with the Publishers Clearinghouse checks. I'm telling you, the man worked for Publishers Clearinghouse.
I looked it up and they say no, never. But I totally remember that. I remember Ed McMahon working for Publishers Clearinghouse. What do you remember?
Why aren't people having kids anymore? Because no one has a spare $300,000. It's the same reason I haven't bought a sapphire mine recently. It's just a tad too expensive. I don't want to spend money on a kid. I freeze my bread to make it last longer. I'm cheap. Look, it's not even a joke. It's just a good tip. I don't even spend the fake money I earn in video games. Here's a better question. Why did the people who had kids before choose to make it feel impossible to have kids now? And how can they help fix that? The closest I'm going to get to having kids is rewatching the first season of Stranger Things. But who's going to take care of you when you're old? I don't know. Probably an AI android with a voice just different enough from Scarlett Johansson's for it to be legal.
Generational population reduction. So the new generations, they don't want to have children because they can't. It's not financially feasible to have children. You can't even live on your own by yourself in most places in the United States. Hell, most places in the world. And who's putting this into play? The World Economic Forum.
This is pretty bizarre. I don't know who has seen this or not, but at the most recent UFC fight during the pre-show on the Vegas Sphere, they ran some pretty questionable wording and they did it at lightning speed, almost like subliminal messaging. So I'm going to play it at normal speed. I'm going to play just a clip of it and then we'll slow it down and really see what they have to say.
Investing with the UCPI in Mexico, he sees what they do, how they show up, how they support their fans. So it's amazing to me to see the growth of the sport. The Mexican fighters are here. The Mexican-born fighters are...
And slowed. They're pretty obvious, like right here. You know, the people that would say it's just words. It's not just words. Why would you put those things in there? Everything has meaning, and everything in this world right now is trying to just detour us off the path of God and get us away. Even this stuff, even the subliminal stuff right here. All intentional.
Dude, that's crazy. Is that real? And what kind of message were they trying to get out? Who were they sending this message to? And who is they?
I think it's kind of cool that California is working on giving first-time home buyers interest-free and payment-free loans for their home. Aha, psych, motherfucker. It's only for illegals. The bill gives undocumented immigrants interest-free home loans worth up to 20% of the property's purchase price. These loans do not accumulate interest and are free from monthly payments. Instead, they repay it when they sell the home or refinance the property. They are giving illegal immigrants 20% of the value of a home so that they can buy one. Illegal immigrants, people who came into this country illegally, people that are not supposed to be here, and they are giving it to them instead of Californians. Their solution to the housing problem is to give interest-free and payment-free loans to illegals. People of California, your government is blatantly telling you to go yourself. I'm beginning to think you're better off being an illegal. There's money, cell phones, free housing, and now interest-free and payment-free loans. And you understand they only pay it if they refinance or sell it. So if an illegal uses this and gets a home, they are getting 20% off the purchase price of a home in California. So you got to think on like a $500,000 home, they would be getting $100,000 of the taxpayer money, of your money. And if they never sell it and never refinance, they never have to pay that back. They are encouraging illegal immigrants to buy the homes you can't afford. And you're going to keep voting for these people. That is why I don't feel bad for California anymore. I just cannot wait for you to fall into the Pacific.
That's my state. I can't wait to move out of California. It is incredibly difficult to live here, and actually do it right. But you know what's even harder? Getting out of California.
Can somebody explain to me and make it make sense that this is $270 worth of groceries? How on earth? One thing of meat, one thing of soda, one thing of milk, 3 bananas, some cereal, some Dunkaroos, a ketchup bottle, all this. How is this $270
I know, it doesn't make any sense. Why would our food cost so much? We have such a wonderful economy. I mean, our economy is so great that we can just give hundreds of billions of dollars to other countries. Actually, it's the big corporations that are making all the weaponry.
Do you owe your conspiracy theory friend an apology? The government has finally admitted that they have a contract with the WEF, $105 million for a digital identity program. Oh, would you take a look at that? Oh, there it is, right there. Okay.
It's happening. The World Economic Forum is sticking their little fingers in everybody's business, and the government's like, yeah, that's a great idea, let's do it.
You are about to learn a little bit about CRISPR, a gene editing strategy that has been hyped by the media in recent years for good cause. Put simply, CRISPR is a high-precision method to swap out part of the genome with one of your genes of interest for gene therapy. It's a system that was isolated from bacteria, which use it as a defense actually against bacteriophage, a type of virus that infects bacteria. But scientists have repurposed it for use in the lab and potentially in humans. However, a major challenge is that the protein complex that's important for the CRISPR-Cas9 to function comes from a bacteria. So if you put it into a human, there's actually a huge immune response. So for now, what this means is it's mostly going to be used ex vivo in the immediate future, where you take out cells like blood and you manipulate them and then you put them back into someone, or in immune privileged sites of the body, like the eye. However, there are methods currently being developed to try to subvert the immune system so it could be used in vivo for gene therapy.
CRISPR is absolutely incredible. It's a super crazy technology, and it's only a matter of time before it is being used to choose our baby's accessories.
A new AI-powered gene editing technique could be set to replace CRISPR. Scientists from the University of Toronto and NYU School of Medicine discovered a new technique that could accelerate the development of gene therapy. The technique is called zinc finger design, and it's a game changer for medicine.
I am all for advancements in medical science, and if things can be cured by restructuring a genome, that's fantastic. But you know this stuff is going to be used for all kinds of weird crap. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by today. If you're having a good time, won't you hit that like button for me and consider subscribing? Then come back tomorrow, because I'm making a new episode every day.
RSO stands for Rick Simpson Oil. Rick Simpson is the man who gets the credit for discovering Rick Simpson Oil. It's a real thick, tarry-like substance, and it'll come in a 1 gram syringe. And within that gram, there's typically between 800 and 1,000 milligrams of THC. RSO has all the medicinal benefits within the plant. It contains literally all of it, so it's going to have all the cannabinoids, all the flavonoids, and all the terpenes. It's good for MS, it's good for seizures, it's good for chronic pain. It's showing really good results for cancer. It's considered like edible, sublingual, or even a topical. You can add it to hot teas or coffees, directly under the tongue or on a cracker. Or if you have an area specifically that needs treated, you can even just rub it and apply it to the skin directly. When it comes to dosing, we typically recommend starting out with the size of a half a grain of rice or a grain, but typically just start out with a half until you kind of figure out the dose and how you're feeling from it.
There certainly have been a lot of advancements with the medical use of marijuana. There's also a lot of hearsay. It's anecdotal. They're like, oh yeah, it helped me with this. But there is also a lot of proof that it does help certain people in certain areas.
So this is an important question we're going to answer. And I want to start by saying I love RSO. I've used it for the last decade in almost every edible product we've ever made. I think it's powerful and really effective treatment. But I think it's also been way over glorified by Rick Simpson himself and a lot of people that follow along in that journey. It is not a miracle cure that cures all cancers. And I think it's a dangerous line of thought to carry on with. But I do believe it's an effective course of treatment for a lot of people, particularly those with long-term disability or chronic pain that just simply won't go away, and you need to consume large amounts of cannabis. The reason it's sort of magical, in my opinion, is because you get a full spectrum extract, meaning all the terpenes, cannabinoids, so everything is there for you.
It is a very bold statement to say that it cures cancer. It is an effective treatment with cancer patients as far as encouraging them to eat, because a lot of people, when they go through those cancer treatments, they don't want to eat, and that's what takes them down, unfortunately. As a person that suffers with chronic pain, I have found that very, very small amounts of THC are effective. I just don't like the headspace stuff. Just make sure you do your research.
Project Blue Book was a program by the United States Air Force from 1952 to 1969 to investigate unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and determine if they posed a threat to national security. Following its predecessors, Project Sign and Grudge, Blue Book collected thousands of reports on UFO sightings. The project aimed to explain these sightings scientifically or debunk them. Most were attributed to natural phenomena or misidentifications, but a small fraction remained unexplained. Critics, however, felt that the project aimed more to reassure the public than to conduct rigorous science. In the end, the Air Force concluded that UFOs were not a threat, didn't represent advanced technology, and weren't extraterrestrial. Consequently, the project was shut down. The documents from Blue Book have since been declassified, fueling ongoing interest and conspiracy theories regarding UFOs and government transparency.
And then the government came out and told us, oh yeah, by the way, they're real.
These are the general principles of natural law. The principle of mentalism states that the all, everything in creation, is actually a manifestation of mind. The principle of correspondence states that that which is above is similar or like to that which is below. So what this means is, it's a mirror. Okay? The above is like the below is like the above. The principle of vibration simply states that there is no such thing as rest. Everything vibrates, and at the most fundamental level, the universe and every single thing which comprises it is ultimately pure vibratory energy that is manifesting itself in different ways, different frequencies, different vibratory forms. The principle of polarity states that everything has a dual nature to it. There are polarities in everything that exists. Everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. However, opposites, they are identical in nature, but they're different in degree.
One of my favorite topics that has come out of this channel is learning about vibration and how everything is moving constantly. Little pieces of paper, my pen, the coffee, yourselves. Everything is constantly vibrating. And that is fantastic. It's a little mind-blowing just to know that.
What if our friend Apophis decides to hit? Apophis is pretty big as far as asteroids go, about 370 meters in diameter. That's roughly the size of 4 football fields, or approximately 185 million hamsters lined up nose to tail. If an asteroid that size were to hit Earth, it would definitely make a splash. And by splash, I mean a crater about 5 kilometers wide. That's like taking a chunk out of New York City. The impact would also release energy equivalent to over 1 billion tons of TNT. Talk about a bad hair day. But it's not just the immediate impact we'd have to worry about. The dust and debris thrown up into the atmosphere could cause what's known as an impact winter. This could lead to a drop in temperatures, disruption of plant growth, and a serious dent in your summer vacation plans. But sleep tight, folks. The sky isn't falling. At least, not today. Even if we did find a potentially hazardous asteroid on a collision course with Earth, we're not totally defenseless. NASA and other agencies have been studying various asteroid deflection strategies. These include the kinetic impactor technique, which is basically like playing a giant game of cosmic billiards, where we try to knock the asteroid off course. So in 2029, when Apophis makes its close approach, instead of ducking for cover, we'll be ready with our telescopes and instruments to learn as much as we can about this ancient chunk of rock from the depths of space. And who knows? Maybe we'll even get some pretty cool selfies out of it too. And remember, if you do see a shooting star, make a wish. Just hope that it's not an asteroid with our address on it.
Put it in your calendar. April 13th, 2029. That's when Apophis is supposed to arrive.
And the larger ones were from 1 kilometer to 6 kilometers. These ships fly in space. They're spacecraft carriers. I designed U.S. Navy spacecraft carriers, which finally got built back in the late 70s up in Utah underneath the ground. And you've seen the pictures of U.S. Navy spaceships, Solar Warden. So Solar Warden came out of a think tank inside of engineering at Douglas. And a whole lot of other stuff came out.
We've been building this secret space fleet for a while now, and I totally buy it. I love listening to his stories. They're fantastic.
First spaceships are U.S. Navy attack class submarines. We put together programs that went all the way out into the galaxy, not just this galaxy.
The military-industrial complex, back when they were testing a lot of the technology that they had received from the Nazis after World War II, as well as from ETs, when they were doing proof of concept testing, they had attached this technology to a regular submarine, and then they flew it out of our atmosphere. That was the first time that they were really able to fly a vessel out of our atmosphere using electrogravitic technology. The reason that they used the submarine was, of course, because they were self-enclosed. The crews that served on them were used to serving 6 months or more away from home, having all of their supplies with them. And they had the psychology of being able to handle those tight quarters for such a long time. The technology developed to a point to where they developed the finances, this financial schemes, to begin to build out fleets of these long cigar-shaped craft. Some of them were kilometer long or longer, and they could make them longer by putting in sections. And the sections were modular, just like in modern submarines. They could take apart the fuselage and pull out sections. It could, one of these modules could be set for like 3 or 4 months as a laboratory for a bunch of different scientific programs. And then at its next time at port, the modules are swapped out, and then it's a hospital ship. The modules swapped out the next time, and it's a troop transport, or it's just a long-haul freighter. So these ships are very modular, and in the beginning, they were using power systems that were nuclear. Then they moved to thorium type of electrical generation, and then they moved to some sort of zero-point electrical generation. And that is what they currently use.
What? Submarines? That's fantastic. You want to know something incredible? I watch baseball. Big surprise, right? And over the last 2 years, there's been this like advertisement for buildsubmarines.com. Like they want people to go and help build more submarines. That just like puts it all together and just boggles the mind. I love it. Oh my God, that's fantastic. Sorry to make you read. Once in a while, something incredible comes across my feed and it's words. So we got to do that. But that's interesting, right? Don't forget, there's a bird flu summit coming up in a few days.
20 months in prison for a Facebook post.
Went on to say that you did not want your money going to immigrants.
How absolutely crazy. 'Cause I don't want my money going to immigrants either, of the illegal variety. That's just ridiculous.
The SpaceX mission that will rescue 2 stranded astronauts has launched, but it's not bringing them home till next year. The Falcon rocket lifted off from Florida on Saturday, carrying 2 astronauts to the International Space Station, and 2 seats have been left empty, so Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams can hitch a ride back. They've been stuck in space since June, after their Boeing Starliner spacecraft experienced helium leaks and problems with its thrusters. But NASA rotates space station crews about every 6 months, so this flight won't return until late February.
Well, that's bad news for Boeing because they failed, but that's going to bring about an even bigger contract for Elon Musk with NASA because his stuff seems to be more reliable.
Elon Musk says SpaceX to launch 5 uncrewed starships to Mars in 2 years. If those all land safely, then crewed missions are possible in 4 years, he said. The crewed missions would be delayed by another 2 years in case of any challenges. No matter what happens with landing success, SpaceX will increase the number of spaceships traveling to Mars exponentially with every transit opportunity, he said on X.
I'm actually very excited for this to happen because I'm a huge space nut and I want to know what the heck is going on Mars. We're going to send people there one day. And I'm so excited that this is happening in my lifetime. It's incredible. As for me, I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come back tomorrow. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things. It's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.